This is Sessions with Sara Cate and Ashley, a podcast that explores the feelings, emotions, and experiences of what it means to be human in this world. This podcast is intended for educational purposes only and is not meant to replace therapeutic services of any kind. Please refer to the list of references if you need support.
And before you dive in, please like, subscribe, comment, share with anyone you think might also connect with today's session. Our goal is to reach as many people as possible, and we are endlessly grateful for your continued support. So, let's get to it.
All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to season 4. This is episode 2 of Sessions with Sara Cate and Ashley. I am Ashley.
And I am Sara Cate.
Sara Cate.
I was trying to do it differently this season. How I say I'm Sara Cate.
Well,
so we'll see. Drop us a note on how it feels if it feels different.
Let us know.
We're always workshopping how we're doing this thing, Let's try something else.
Okay. Well, all right. Anyways, I was gonna say something. I don't know what it was. So, Sara Cate.
Yeah.
Tell us
what we're talking about today.
Yeah, tell us what we're chatting about.
So, as you are aware, we had episode 1, rather, was really about the new chapters that Ashley and I have embarked on and what that has brought up for us as women and as humans in the world. Ashley having this gorgeous baby girl and me building this business in Sunnyside neighborhood of Denver, co-founding a space with an acupuncturist. And it's been a really focused season, I think, for both Ashley and I, right? Like her being pregnant, going into the birth, and then delivery and recovery, and then raising. And, all of you mamas out there know what it's like in that post-delivery haze of being a new mom and having this little being that is 100% yours and yours to keep alive. My anxiety could not. My head would pop off. So having Ashley really having to be intentional about that, me having to equally so be intentional about finding a location, figuring out leases, signing contracts, all this shit that I don't know how to do. Really hiring therapists, still maintaining my client load. Like, it has been
I'm like getting a stomach ache listening to this.
Stuff I never want to ever have to do again.
Yeah.
Probably won't. But it was just head down, one foot in front of the other. I'm completely out of my depths. And I think Ashley and I, in our last conversation, really kind of talked about that, of like how, regardless of the situations that we're in, the emotions or the feelings might be the same, right? Like being confused. I don't know what's happening. Is this right? Is this wrong? Should I do this? Should I do that? Right? Like that kind of, grappling that exists when you're doing something you haven't done before and trying to do something brand new. And what I have witnessed and experienced is the guilt and definite some shame of not being able to show up to friends, family, community the way that I once did. And it has my energy and direction has had to go in one direction most days. And that was at the sacrifice and detriment to these other roles I have. And how, I think for so long, for so many chapters of my life, it was easy to personalize someone else or make a narrative about somebody else and how they were showing up as it pertained to me. And I don't think I ever asked the question of like, hey, what's going on for you? Like, where's your capacity at? And I'm feeling this way, but I just, is it because of us, or is it maybe something that's happening for you? Right. I don't even think the full awareness back in those past experiences, whether my friends had babies or they got a partner or they got a new job, right? And like where I would have this kind of awareness that like that might not be anything to do with me. And if it is,
Mm-hmm.
I could ask that question as well, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there being more of a dialogue about around it. Whereas I think we can so easily personalize someone's absence
Mm-hmm.
as a reflection of, because I think there's these like rhetorics of like, if they want to, they will, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that gets dangerous because if we go dogmatically into one of those like belief systems, it tells us that then there is still something wrong with you because then they're not wanting to,
Yep. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's a useful, but we wanted to talk about this because I think I've had to ask for grace from my friends and family in this because I can't show up how I want to. And it isn't because I don't want to. It's because I literally don't have it. I mean, if you could see me
Yeah.
right now, I'm in a fetal position on my bathroom floor. And like to think that I'm going to be able to then give you the energy I want to and would be desperate to if I could.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, you know, and it's
Mm-hmm.
that piece of it really trying to reconcile like even my own idea of myself in this
Mm-hmm.
moment and what I don't have to give.
Mm-hmm.
And and to be fair, and some of it that like needs to be reorganized. Ashley and I've talked in previous seasons about like renegotiating our energy contracts with people. And
Mm-hmm.
that feels like one of these moments where my hand is being forced into
Mm-hmm.
that, but like probably needed to happen.
Yeah. I just I don't know how to like nicely say this.
Don't.
I don't, because this shit pisses me off so much, and it just really it yeah. Um,
Just
I
speechless.
just don't yeah, because I just don't understand why people do this to each other.
Yeah.
Because we all, I don't know if it's like a lack of ability to see beyond ourselves sometimes, because I'm not saying that I have never done this. I'm not saying that either, but um a lack of ability to see beyond ourselves, to think
Hmm.
that I am important enough in this other person's life that they would like abandon themselves for me. I never want anybody to abandon themselves for me. Right. And
Hmm.
so, who am I to sit here and say, you're not doing XYZ when that's coming from a place of like, because I need something from you. Right.
Hmm.
Now, very different than if I'm like, hey, I miss you. What's going on? Right?
Hmm.
Like, can we have a moment to connect? Very
Yeah.
different than assuming that, like, just because somebody is busy, because I'm going to be honest, I love the idea of showering a new mother with a baby shower or with food after and like celebrating that. And I love the idea of celebrating somebody who is like committing their life with another person, right? I love that. But I also feel like we should be celebrating the people in our lives for whatever that passion is, right?
Hmm.
So we should be having big celebrations and support whatever it is when somebody like gets divorced or gets out of
Hmm.
a toxic relationship and is celebrating themselves finally, right? Or builds a business,
Gets
gets
a
a brick and
dog.
mortars. Yeah, like there are so many other things
Yeah.
that go on in our life that we just brush over. So
Hmm.
like for Sarah Kate, she's literally building something that is so important and is like her, like, I just can't see. I get goosebumps every time I talk about it. You guys,
Gas me up, girl. Gas me
because
up.
because the
She
work that
is
both her and
taking
Carrie,
it.
now listen, Carrie, oh, jeez.
I know. We could talk
She
about
is,
Carrie. We have a whole podcast. We could talk about how magical Carrie is.
yeah. And I like I cannot think of two like more special people. What they're putting into this world deserves to be like kiss the ground that is in front of their building type shit. And
Just sad.
I don't know, but and
It makes me
I
cry.
just don't understand how somebody could say, how somebody could get upset because this is the season of life that you're in, And
Mhm.
how are we not celebrating you and what you're building and figuring out how to help so that if you want to be somewhere that you are needed or want to give more energy so that you feel resourced to do that. Like it's the
Mhm.
same thing. Like when we have like a doula postpartum come over and help take care of you, like you deserve somebody to come take care of you as you're building this business also.
Mhm.
And we don't do that for people. And so for somebody to sit on the
For
outside and say
whatever
like,
reason. Yeah.
yeah, like I just don't. I mean, I know that it's been so indoctrinated in us, and I think a lot of people
Yeah.
sometimes think that I'm just like this, like delusionally, like optimistic that we could like change the world and be nice to everyone.
I appreciate
But
about you.
um, I just,
Yeah.
I just don't. I literally, I can't comprehend it. I just don't understand.
What I can add, what I can kind of offer, I guess, in the unfortunate side of me being a therapist is that I can always find
I know.
the
I know.
pathology and
I know.
reasoning for why we behave the way we behave, why we act the way we act.
Yeah.
And but to your point, but why I think it happens, right, is because I think it illuminates our abandonment wounds. It
Hmm.
illuminates
Oh, for
where
sure.
we are under-resourced
Yeah. Hmm.
in a way. And
Hmm.
it's like, but I also think it's like it needs to go somewhere, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's the
Hmm.
hard thing is we sometimes aren't aware enough. And I've done this, right? Like
Hmm.
I've
Yeah,
had
so
these
have I.
feelings about other people who have
Hmm.
like not been able to show up in my life in a way I wanted them to.
Hmm.
And maybe even again, it was a way that they would have wanted to, but
Hmm.
couldn't. I think,
Hmm.
about one of my best friends who's had three babies and like it was, 7 years of her just being pregnant and having children and like the cost on her energy and her brain and her body while she was still working. Like like I cannot believe this woman is a champion to me. And it is so real that like
Hmm.
there still probably was a moment where I was like, man, I really miss my friend. And like,
Yeah.
I just don't feel like we're the same we were anymore. And whatever it was. And like that was because of my own shit that lives in my body around
Hmm.
people leaving, people not showing up how I need, whatever it might be. And so I think again, there's a compassion that can come at this but also I think acceptable and appropriate anger too around
Yeah,
like
for sure.
frustration of like
Hmm.
please rather like how do we actually invite this conversation in
Hmm.
better so we can realize
Hmm.
A, it's not personal, and B, how we're then actually communicating and connecting even more
Hmm.
deeply, even if it's 10 minutes, we know where the other's at, and so you
Yeah.
have this permission and freedom with your next 2 weeks where I'm not going to be putting this energy out there
Hmm.
towards you and maybe being resentful and passive aggressive and
Hmm.
spiteful in my communication, but I'm just like, oh, I know where she's at for the week,
Yep.
and like,
Yeah.
or like, hey, she just had a baby. I should maybe just check in with her and be like, girl, I really want to connect, but what's your bandwidth?
Yeah.
And if you tell me 6 months, I got to respect that. Am I going to miss you? Sure as shit, I'm going to miss you.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like, you need
and
it.
I this yeah, and this illustrates I feel like how different this conversation would be if we were able to grow up with modeling of
Yes.
some healthier relationships, right? Like oftentimes we don't get a lot of good, healthy relationship modeling in front of us. And so what Sarah Kate is talking about with her friend, like her friend who had three babies, like first of all, God bless. Uh,
God bless her. They're my favorite little humans on the planet, but whoop
yeah.
she is a champ. She's
Um,
a warrior.
and how like there's ebbs and flows, right? And when you're communicating through those ebbs and flows of like maybe because like we go through like you're like hanging out all the time, right?
All the
And
time.
it's like constant like communication and all that. And then something happens. Like maybe it's just a new job. Like maybe it's not three kids. Maybe your best friend got a new job and she's
Yeah.
trying to like stay above water and learn all the things and not feel like she's falling behind and all of that that comes with a new
Mm-hmm.
position. But like that little dip in the friendship doesn't mean that it's any less important to either of us. And I I
Mhm.
wish that we had modeling of that so that we would
Yeah.
know how, like Sarah Kate was saying, to have these conversations with compassion of like, hey, I miss you. How you doing? Right?
Mhm.
Not like a, I miss you. Why are you not doing this for me? Right?
Mhm.
Like more of a, on both ends of being
Mhm.
like, hey, where you at? Here's where I'm at. Right? Like being proactive and
Yeah.
saying too, like, I don't have it in me. Like, but I want you to know that I'm thinking about you, right?
Yeah.
Like I would give anything to go hang out, but I literally cannot imagine leaving the house this week because I am so
Mhm.
depleted, exhausted, whatever, right?
Whatever. Right. And like for that to be like, oh, if we could just even reflect to that person, like, man, I'm so glad you're taking care of yourself. Right.
Right.
Like, even because
Right.
sometimes it's just us knowing that,
Mhm.
like, someone is, and sometimes it's our fear of knowing if someone isn't okay. And we're like,
Yep.
why are you telling me what's going on? Whatever
Mhm.
it is, we care about people. And so I think it can
Mhm.
soften even that, like, panic about what's going on when you're just like, man, I'm just so depleted. My energy is
Mhm.
down. And as a new mom, I could say, yeah, that would make sense. Get
Mhm.
some snacks, take a nap. Like,
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
can catch up when you feel like shoot me a text when you feel like your head is clear,
Yeah.
and like knowing that you're just also taking care of yourself could, I think, help settle, because I think even
Yeah.
sometimes when we push, it's from our own guilt of feeling like maybe we don't know what's going on, or maybe whatever,
Mhm.
there might be something we're
Mhm.
unaware of.
Mhm.
But I think at the end of the day, too, Ashley, to your point about the modeling, I think this is where we get to do our work as adults
Yeah, for sure. Mhm.
and start to say, okay, I want to send this text, this spicy text. What am I feeling?
Mhm.
Like, what
Mhm.
is it that is actually, like, I really miss her? Like, come to the
Yeah.
feeling,
Yep.
right? Or I'm feeling hurt. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling like we're not close,
Mhm.
right? That will give you so much more awareness about
Yeah.
how to ask or how to
Yep.
say, hey, I'm
Mhm.
feeling this thing. Am I
Yep.
right? And then they can say, I just been X, Y, or Z. And okay,
Mhm. Yeah.
I would love to know that. I would love to support you
Mhm.
in that,
Mhm.
whatever it
Because
might be.
yeah, and I think, on the other side of that, it's if I were to show up at a, I don't know, dinner with Sarah Kate and I'm like completely depleted and exhausted and like the last thing I want to do is be out of the house, she doesn't want it's not gonna be the same.
Mhm.
Right? She's gonna know that I'm forcing it. And that
Yeah.
creates a weird space. And it just could have been a situation where she was like, no, no, go take care of yourself. Right?
Yeah. I would be like,
Like
Shh, you need a nap."
yeah. Yes. And then yeah. And so I think, it's, uh, I hate like, like when people say like, well, walk a mile in their shoes. And I don't think that we need to like walk a mile in everybody's shoes, but
No.
I think we just like take a step back, like Sarah Kate said, and ask what the feeling is.
Mhm.
And it automatically is going to give us a different perspective for that person without us even saying, I wonder if they're tired because they just had a baby. Or like it
Mhm.
just removes kind of all of that pressure to
The
really figure it
mystify, yeah,
out.
like
Yeah.
the not the assuming.
Yes. And we just get to, and then like she said, you have a better idea of where to go for like the text that you do want to send. And then you're actively practicing as a full sovereign adult on how you want to mold your relationships. And that in and of itself is like such a healing opportunity that you get.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and back to everything Ashley and I talk about, right? Like all the previous seasons, the focus is like, what are you noticing in your body, and how does that give
Hmm.
you greater autonomy? Right?
Hmm.
How do you become a better advocate for yourself when you notice what is happening in your actual system, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Rather than me throwing that out into the world on somebody else to take care of, I'm like, wow, what's happening for me? And then I can actually get it taken care of, because I
Hmm.
can say, here's what I need,
Yep.
like, this is what I'm feeling, and then that can
Yeah.
be met differently. And so I
Yep.
think it's just learning this new way of meeting ourselves in a way that feels, again, just, I know who I am in this.
Yeah.
How do I now bring that to this relationship?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's what we want
Sarah
to say
Kate,
on that, friends. We
did you
have
pull a card?
Flower of Cups. So
Oh,
it's one of my
okay.
favorites. It's a sweet crane.
Wow, I've never got this one.
I love this one.
Okay.
I navigate life with refined attunement to myself and
Oh,
others.
wow.
Brought to us by the graceful sandhill crane, our flower of cups represents uh, connection with our intuition. She inspires us to see the ambiguities of a situation with clarity. This is so appropriate. This gives us access to a deeper connection with the subconscious and unseen. Our flower of cups reminds us that we are capable of getting through the tough times and doing the work necessary for emotional freedom.
Mm,
Connection to sacred space allows us to fully trust and follow our heart. The soft, reassuring look in her eyes, an invitation to embrace her loving, gentle, and empathic ways. She, with her warm, feathery embrace, is available to you. You are welcome here to rest, to recover, and to reconnect with your emotional senses. It is a mature step to be able to perceive the emotional state of others and know how to navigate them while also respecting your own. This is
mm,
so fucking good. Our
mm,
Flower of Cups reminds us of the 5 sensitivities we already possess. Her practice is one of depth and connection. Go there with her. Are you listening to your intuition? Are you in touch with the emotional aspects of your situation? Could you benefit from reconnecting with your sacred space? What does emotional and foundational freedom look like and feel like to you? What are some ways that you can practice being sensitive to your intuition and receptive to the emotions of others? Have you been actively listening to yourself and to others? Make time to honor all that you have been through and that has brought you to this point.
I
Well,
mean, it's magic in the cards.
darling Sandhill Crane reminds us that we need to attune to our emotional experience and notice what might be happening for others and like
Yeah.
how those two things get to intersect. And I think,
Hmm. Hmm.
if anything, I'm beyond grateful for all of, be it hard feedback or easy feedback. I love Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham Hicks, and she speaks about this in the language of contrast. And she says contrast is actually there for our refinement, right? And so
Yeah.
even if something hard comes in and
Hmm.
something difficult sits in my body, it's that contrast is there for me to understand it so I can
Yeah.
readjust, reattune
Yep.
to something easier. And that's
Yeah.
what this all is, this entire
Yeah.
process. What we've done is to refine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
here we are.
yeah, here we are. And, you know, we hope that as you are refining, that we're here for support, right? Because this
Yeah.
refinement is really hard and it's really just sucks sometimes. Um, and and
And
the more you get to know yourself, the easier it becomes, and what's on the other side is so worth it. And so, you know, stay tuned.
stay tuned.
I'm
We'll let you know how we're doing. But this season is going to be full of more language about
Mhm,
embodying, understanding,
mhm.
recognizing, and then reorganizing,
Yeah.
right? And
And
like,
yeah, I'm just so excited because we're coming from just very different places than
I
we've
know,
either
I can't
one of
wait to see
us
what comes
has
up.
ever been. So,
So if you have something that is burning in your brain, reach out
yeah.
to us, DM us, find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, get a hold of us.
Okay.
Okay,
And
until next
until next
time.
time,
And
take
until next
care.
time. Bye.
Bye.